I haven't made a video in a while, so I'll make one about Dan, Level Up a Dub Dub Harmon. He's not actually that cool. Dan Harmon, bird person, is a cool guy. We should just call him Dan Rice, so we'll get someone who's cool confused with someone who's an idiot. Or we'll call him by his goth name, his Wiccan name, Vederick von Levesque. So, just Dan tried to start a cult way back in 2002, I think, and he said that he had this church going with hundreds of members, and there was a kid in Virginia in a class who was supposed to read a script for some kind of, I don't even know what the hell kind of class you read a script for. It wasn't like a drama thing or anything like that. It was some kind of weird thing where you wouldn't read a script. And Dan's like, oh, this kid is a witch, so he decided to read from the Necronomicon. Now, the Necronomicon doesn't actually exist. It's a pretend book that was made up in, I think, 1922 in the Lovecraft story. Or maybe 24. It's either 22 or 24. But, you know, the term itself, Necronomicon, is improper grammar. But that's beside the point. The point is, Dan is making up this story where he says, you know, him and his lawyers went to wherever this happened and shook up the school district, showing them that they're not going to impede on his freedom of religion to read a book that doesn't exist. And of course, you know, the kid doesn't exist, the school doesn't exist, Dan doesn't have lawyers, all this crap is fake. But this just goes to show how far back Dan's disconnect from reality goes. But, ooh, there goes something. So, just to remind Dan, 7 days from today, I think. Pretty sure it's the 10th. Let me just double check the event. Oh no, it's not 7 days from today. It's actually 25 days from today. So that gives Dan even more time. Don's holding his Goodbye to Outdoor Training seminar. So it's occurring at George Fellows Park, which is a few feet away from Dan's house. Dan, I'm not going to be there, so you don't have to be scared. You can go and visit Don yourself without crying on Facebook that 2 people here are going to double team you. So you can go see Don Sunday, September 28th, 10 a.m. Go visit. You know, because you claimed that he didn't show up last time, but here you go. It's right by your house. Go ahead, show up. Speaking of stuff that's right by Dan's house, the law offices of Hideyuki Honzawa, or, oh no, he changed his name now. It's Honzawa Kogimono, or Kogimo. Something wrong, I know that. But we tracked that down. That happens to be a Mormon church that is by Dan, and he took the picture with Charles Sakai, who of course we know died. He was Dan's mental health counselor. And we tracked down the image that was supposedly his law office, but it's a Mormon church. You see, Dan was on his way there because he thought it was a church for morons, like the one that he was pretending to start for witches. But yeah, it was the Mormon church. And the special underwear they need is different from the special underwear that Dan wears. So, you could Google this Mormon church, like a Church of Latter-day Saints in Colorado Springs, and you can compare it with the picture that Dan has on his website, where it says him and Honzawa Soke over there, and just see what an idiot he looks like. But if you want to see more of what an idiot he looks like, you can come to Bullshit Martial Arts, and you could see him posting pictures of himself on the toilet. The reason he posted pictures of himself on the toilet was to prove that he was the real Dan, because there was an imposter. So he sent the someone I must have asked him to prove that he was the real Dan. So he's like, here's a picture of me on the toilet, because that's what you asked for. So I assume that the person who's asking you to send a picture of yourself on the toilet to prove you're the real you is a guy who's pretending to be you. That's just a pretty simple deduction. And if you send a picture of yourself on the toilet, you're just fucking retarded. It's like, I don't even know. This guy is just such an idiot. He's so stupid. So that's all there is really for that That's the update for Dan. So Dan, someone posted this video on Dan's thing so that he knows that that he can go see Don on the 28th of September. Cause at least we know that when we say that there's going to be a seminar and Dan can show up, he shuts up until the day after the seminar because he's afraid. So just do that and we'll have 25 days of no Dan. What else? What else? What else? There's not really much else. There hasn't been anything really going on. Chris is a witch too. I guess that I don't know if Dan's copying him or if he's copying Dan. Who knows? The big fake Koga LARP fest fell through, so Dukes can't show up to that. So, you know, I don't even know what the hell is going on with that thing. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty uneventful. Nothing else really to say. Just post this video to Dan's thing and keep reminding him. Give him 25 days of reminders constantly. The end.